In this video, you will learn about commissions and tips. Now, commission, by definition, is a percentage of a sale that is earned by a salesperson. So, for example, a car salesman earns 5% commission on any sale that he makes, and he sold a car today for $20,000. So what that means is that if he is making 5% commission, he gets to keep 5% of the sale. So he gets to keep 5% of $20,000. So if you do 0.05 times 20,000, you're going to get 1,000. All right, so he gets to keep $1,000 of the sale. All right, so his commission that he earned is $1,000. So his earnings would be considered the $1,000. All right, so that's how commission works. So commission is basically a percentage of a sale. So here's another example. A salesman earns 4% commission and sold $400. What is the amount of his earnings? So what this means is that he gets to keep 4% of the $400 sale. So the question is really, what is 4% of $400? So when I solve this, 4% I can convert to a decimal. That's 0.04. Of means multiply, and then we have 400. So I take 0.04, multiply it by 400, and when I do that, I'm going to get 1,600, and then I have to move the decimal place over 2 places. That gives me 16.00, or 16. So his earnings is $16. Number 2, find the rate of commission if $5,000 earns a salesperson $100. So he sells $5,000 and he keeps $100. So the question is, what is that percentage? What is the rate of commission? So the question boils down to 100 is what percent of 5,000? So I can set this up as an equation. 100 is equals, what percent is an unknown? We'll call that x. Of means multiply, and then we have multiplied by 5,000. So my equation is 100 equals x times 5,000, or 5,000 times x, same thing. And then to solve for x, I can divide both sides by 5,000. When I do that, the 5,000s cancel. I'm left with x equals 100 over 5,000. Well, I can divide top and bottom both by 100, so then that will cancel, and this will cancel. I'm left with 1 over 50. As a percentage, I can think of this as something over 100. Right, that's what percentage means. 50 times 2 is 100, so 1 times 2 on the top is 2. So I have 2 over 100, which means that would be 2%. So my solution is that the salesman earned 2% rate of commission. Example 3. Jennifer receives a 4% commission for selling houses. If she earned $4,600 for the sale of a house, how much did she sell the house for? Alright, so she's earning 4%, and 4% gave her $4,600. So the question comes down to is what, 4,600 is 4% of what number? Alright, so from here I can write this as an equation. 4,600 is equals, 4% would be 0.04, of means multiply, and then what number? That would be a variable. So my equation is 4,600 equals 0.04 times x. So then from here, I need to solve for x by dividing both sides by 0.04. So I have x equals 4,600 divided by 0.04. Now when I divide, I want to make sure that there's no decimal in the denominator. So I can multiply top and bottom by 100. When I do that, on the top I have 2 zeros that I add, and then on the bottom I have 4. So I take 460,000 divided by 4, and assuming we could do that correctly, we're going to get $115,000. So that means that Jennifer sold the house for $115,000, and when she did that, with her 4% commission, she earned $4,600. And we could always double check our answer by taking 4% of this number, and we should get back out this $4,600. Now we're going to switch over to tips. So in the United States, when you go to a restaurant, many places, if you have a waiter or waitress, you need to tip that person. So meaning you give a certain percentage of your meal cost to the waiter or waitress. So currently, the tip rate is typically a 15% rate, meaning that after the meal, an individual would put on the table 15% of $20, and that is an additional fee. So you pay the fee of $20 for the meal, but in addition to that, you will tip the waiter or waitress. So the question comes down to, what is 15% of $20? So to calculate this, I take 0.15 and multiply it by 20. So 0.15 times 20 would give my solution. So 0.15 times 20, I would get 3 and then 2 zeros, and then here I have 2 numbers after the decimal, so I need 2 numbers after the decimal here, so that's going to give me 3.00. So my tip would be $3. Now, by the way, if you're trying to do this in your head, there is a little shortcut you can use. If you base everything off 10%, so we could do 10% very quickly, right? 10% of 20, 10% of 20, you just move the decimal place over, and you get 2, right? So if you have 15%, that'd be a 10% plus 5%. So 5% of 20. Once you have the 2, take half of 2 to get 1. That's 5%, right? That's half of 10%, and that's half of 2. So if you add those together, 10% plus 5%, that would give you the 15%. Over here, same thing. You do 2 plus 1 to get 3. All right, so you find 10%, and then you add that with half that number, and that's going to give you your answer. All right, example 2. You have $35 meal, and the question is, what amount should be tipped? So what is 15% of $35? All right, so I take 0.15 and multiply it by 35. All right, if you do this correctly, you would be getting 5.25 as your answer. If you try to do this mentally, you could do 10% of 35 to get 3.5, and then add that with half of 3.5, which would be 175. You add those together, and you get 525. So this one is not as easy to do in your head, but you could if you wanted to. All right, but either way, your solution is 5.25. Example 3. A dinner costs $40, and Jomelin decided to leave a tip of $8. And the question is, what percent did he tip? So the question comes down to $8 is what percent of 40? So I can convert this into an equation. We have 8 means equals. What percent, that is unknown. Of is multiply, and then we have 40. So 8 equals x times 40. To solve, I can divide both sides by 40. We have x equals 8 over 40, which can reduce by dividing top and bottom by 8, which would give me 1 over 5. Well, 1 over 5 is 0.2. And just move the decimal place over 2 places. That gives me 20%. So Jomelin left a 20% tip to the waiter or waitress. And that concludes our lesson for today. We will see you next time.